Welcome, everybody, to our live broadcast, our weekly Seeds of True Success live broadcast with myself, Alex Rowland, and Janice Sanders. We're partners at Seeds of True Success, but we have a very special guest today, and that's Fernanda Jimenez. She's joining us from Mexico City. Fernanda is an architect. She went to school with us at Sedona College of International Management to learn how to train people in the seed system. And she's a seed system trainer down in Mexico. She's our counterpart. She hosts DCI down in Mexico, and she does all kinds of exciting things that she can tell us about to help people learn more about the seed system. So welcome, both of you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you. Thank you to our tech team, as always, for making this possible for us. They're amazing. Michelle. So today we're going to talk more about addiction because we're getting ready to launch Level 6 is starting in about a week. That's DCI Level 6, Freedom from Addictions. We've been talking about different physical addictions, emotional addictions, how they show up in our lives. Today, we wanted to talk about the mother of addictions, which is our philosophical addiction. They say it's called the mother of addiction because it's at the root of our other kinds of addictions, our physical addictions and our emotional addictions. So if we can understand this better, then it's going to help us with all of our problems and all the things that cause us trouble in our lives. So I wanted to ask our excellent guests. So we'll start with Fernanda, if you don't mind. Fernanda, how would we recognize that we're having a philosophical addiction? Maybe you better tell us what it is.
Okay. Well, I will say a philosophical addiction is an addiction. It's something that hurts us or the people we love, the people close to us, because we have a way of thinking that is not the correct one. It's not the right way of thinking. So maybe our mind is like stubborn and we cannot see things as they really are. So if an addiction, if it harms us or it harms the people around us, it can be called an addiction.
Great, thank you. That's really clear. Janice, how about some practical examples to help us recognize this problem?
Yeah. I was thinking anytime we blame someone for something that happens to us, we blame traffic, we blame somebody for yelling at us, we're actually having a philosophical addiction if we do that all the time. Anytime we think that traffic jam is coming at us, it wasn't there for anybody else, but it's coming at me and I experience it, and I have a misunderstanding about where it's coming from, really, I'm having a philosophical addiction. Or if someone yells at me and I yell back because I think they're yelling at me because they decided to yell at me instead of coming from something that I did in the past, I am making the mistake of not understanding where their yelling is coming from. And that's a source of a philosophical addiction, is misunderstanding how everything that I see around me, all the people who yell at me, they're yelling at me because I yelled at someone in the past. Traffic jams happen to me because I've held people up. It doesn't have to be in traffic. Maybe I blocked them in the grocery store, reaching for something. Seeds grow, so it could be any of those things.
Great, thank you so much. So on the screen right now is the DCI Level 6 page where you can sign up, and we have some great free videos from Geshe Michael Roach that are available on that landing page as well for you to watch if you want to learn more about the program. So what I'm hearing from both of you is that we can tell, one of the ways that we can tell that we're having a philosophical addiction problem is when we're unhappy. I mean, we're blaming other people. We're getting angry, and those negative emotions arising are coming from a misunderstanding of how things work in our world. It's like we see things almost entirely backwards, like 180 degrees the wrong way, that I'm blaming other people for my problems, and it doesn't help me solve anything, right?
Right. And I think this philosophical addiction is like the root of all the other addictions. Like, for example, the emotional ones, anger, sadness. Because when you get angry, it's because you don't really understand how life happens and how to stop anger. And also the physical addictions, because the same with alcohol, for example, or drugs. You think there's something in the alcohol that gives you something you want, like happiness or relaxation, but actually there's nothing inside the alcohol to give you this. So this is the philosophical addiction we're talking about. We think there's something in there that's going to give me a solution, but the solution is not there. So if we have this misunderstanding, it's when the other addictions happen and we harm ourselves and we harm other people.
Yeah. So Janice, can you give us any idea about the 4 different signs of addiction, of like how will we notice more, even more precisely, like when we're having that anger attack, like how can we notice that it's fitting into those 4 signs of addiction?
Okay. So, well, if it's compulsive, like if I get angry, and I start gritting my teeth, even for the smallest infraction, it's a compulsive behavior that I just do because I get irritated so easy. It's become a compulsion that I do it for the smallest thing. And the next one is it hurts somebody else. My anger, it makes somebody feel very uncomfortable and unhappy. So it hurts them. And it hurts me too. And then the bottom one, I hope I did them in order, but the last thing is, and I can't do anything about it. I can't stop it even if I want to. I think that would have been the first one. Yeah. It's something that I can't stop, even if I wanted to. It hurts, hurts me, hurts others, and I do it all the time.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, because how do we do it so often? Like, how do we even recognize it? And how do we stop something if we don't know we're doing it? So I guess that's the kind of question I have in my mind, is it's so much of a habit to see the world as coming at me, like problems coming at me that are out of my control. Like that's the whole way my mind thinks. So how do we start to break that pattern? Fernanda, do you want to give us some wisdom on that?
Well, I think reading, studying, meditating, trying to change our mind, because this addiction is inside our mind. It's more subtle. You cannot see it, right? So we have to find out ways to turn our minds, like study a lot, read a lot, meditate a lot, to little by little start changing this inside our minds.
Right. Janice, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, we all have friends, we have family, and frequently it's my kids that tell me and bring it to my attention. They tell me when I've done something, and I do it all the time, and it's just, like leaving messes around the house, not picking up after myself. Those are habits, and they're disrespectful habits, leaving it for someone else. Or, I can have a really good friend, who notices that I complain a lot. And then they come up with a system that where we could notice where we're complaining and have a sign for it. So good friends, family, people around you, they're really good at telling us when we have bad habits. And we can notice them ourselves too. If I start, like I know I've realized lately that I have a bad habit of using work as an escape from my problems. So I'll frequently just work a lot. And I know it's an addiction because I can't stop it if I wanted to. It hurts others and it hurts my health. So, I just started noticing these things more and more and more. So I think those are clues that we could watch in our lives.
Yeah. And that the philosophical addiction behind workaholic, being a workaholic, would be that we think that working more is going to be the cause of bringing us more money or more happiness or a better reputation. But really, those things come from how we treated people in the past, right? Yeah. So I think blame for me is a really great one. If I can catch myself with a feeling of blame, then I know that there's something going on that's not quite right. And we have other people in our lives that we see them blaming something, and we know, it's easy to see when someone else is blaming and it's not logical. They're blaming somebody else because they were late, or they're, really, we would think, oh, you should have left 5 minutes early, but they're blaming the traffic and they're angry at the traffic, So it's easier to see in other people and watch them blaming in a way that seems irrational, maybe. But we have this old saying in English: if you're pointing a finger at someone, then you have one finger pointing forward and 3 fingers pointing back at yourself. So that's helpful. Yeah. So Fernanda, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing in Mexico and your program, and then we'll keep going on the topic of the mother of addiction if you guys have more to say about it.
Thank you. Yeah, we're working on a program, level 6 from DCI in Spanish, to help people get rid of their addictions, physical, emotional, philosophical, any kind of addictions, with deep tools to really get rid of our addictions, like really realize, maybe even recognize them, because that's the first step. Maybe we don't even know we have them. We think drugs or alcohol is an addiction, but there's other kind of addictions like anger or other kind. So first recognizing, and then having tools to be able to get rid of them and live a happier life. So we're having that program in November 14, in Mexico and all the Spanish-speaking countries.
Great. And diamondbusinesstraining.com is where people can go to find out more information, get on your WhatsApp and on your mailing list to make sure they know when your program is coming up. And what's the date of your program?
November 14.
Okay, so you'll be a little bit after when we do our program for Seeds of True Success, so people can take it in English. Then they can go take it in Spanish and learn Spanish, and also, get to know the material more deeply. So that's really great. Plus, it's
español.
It's so great that we have an international community. Actually, this program is available in many languages. And if you go to the Diamond Cutter Institute Global's website, which I don't have handy, but if you Google Diamond Cutter Institute, on that website, there are all the partners in all the different languages. You can take it in Russian, Vietnamese, in various languages around the world. So whatever language you speak, hopefully there's an organizer near you who can help you take DCI level 6. So then another thing that I wanted to mention is our registration is open, and there's a discount code if you want to take it in English. We're the English language partners, and you can get 10% off the program of Freedom from Addictions if you go to our landing page, which they'll scroll across the screen for you as well, and put in the code, which you have to be watching the program on the video to see the code, I guess, because I'm not going to read it out. But it's on the bottom of our screen. So if you're listening to this on audio, you can go and look at the video. Yeah. So what else do you guys have to say about addiction, philosophical or otherwise? Janice, do you have something that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I do. Because I was really thinking about this. I've really been thinking about addictions, and some of them are socially acceptable, like working hard, even though it hurts you. And making this mistake just every time we do it, and we misunderstand, where this drive to work hard comes from. If we're doing it for money and we work hard so we can get more money, we're actually misunderstanding where money really comes from. And if it's how we treat other people. So if we share more things, we will become more prosperous. So I think it's really important to notice that. And if we notice that, then we can weaken this addiction. And also, this philosophical addiction, every time we make the mistake of where things are coming from, we're making that philosophical addiction grow and become stronger. So anytime we struggle against it, with understanding that things really don't come from what we think they come from how we treat people, then we're weakening it. And, we'll start diminishing, the addictions we see we have. And finally, more and more that crop up that we see.
No. One of the examples of a philosophical addiction is if we have an addiction to watching too many movies or eating too much ice cream, which are two of my addictions that I've mentioned already on this program. And then we try to think of ways to stop those addictions, like running around and going on the internet and searching for ways, how do I cut down on my movie watching? Or going to a diet class to, learn how to eat better. It's not that we shouldn't try a diet program, but it only works some of the time. And so running around looking for solutions to our problems that only work some of the time is an example of this philosophical addiction. And trying to get over our addictions by running around looking for solutions that might work sometimes, and it might work a little bit and not last. So Fernanda, what can we do instead of running around and doing the diet program? We can take DCI level 6.
Of course, I think that's a great idea. Because these tools, they come from ancient texts, like they pass generation from generation because they work, right? Because if they didn't work, they wouldn't pass it to the next generation. So I guess these are really valuable tools that we can use in our daily life to get rid of our addictions from the root.
I was also thinking, Fernanda, about international community that we have through Diamond Cutter Institute Global. And you've done some traveling to Taiwan, I know, and some other places to help organizers around the world. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. We got to be in China, Taiwan, Bali, Thailand, and it's really amazing to get to know the people from international community and having friends all over the world and sharing and having talks with friends and getting to travel other places, other countries, and it was an amazing experience.
Cool, great. And what about you, Janice? What do you like about the international community feeling, and that this program's available in so many languages? Do you have anything to add about that?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think when we have this program in so many different languages and we're helping people all around the world, it's bringing people together. It's, it's not creating the opposite where people are just trying to avoid each other or look for differences. It's seeing a community. We don't have to look like one another. We don't have to speak the same language, but we communicate from our heart, because we're all on the same path of trying to help one another. So I just find it the most beautiful thing in my life. One of the most beautiful things in my life. Maybe the most beautiful thing in my life.
Well, the grandbaby, I know that grandbaby's right up there.
Yes, she is.
Well, a friend of mine had a grandbaby today. It was born just today, so that's exciting. Those grandbabies are starting to come like crazy.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I agree. It's like a way of stopping competition in the world, that we are trying to do things in a different way. We're trying to see things, taking personal responsibility for the problems that we see in the world around us, at international conflicts, problems with racism and people being hurting each other because of the color of their hair or the color of their skin. So it makes a really big difference to actually work together and try to see a world where we don't have the habit of hurting other people to get what we want. So that's a good habit to break.
It's really a great habit to break. I really appreciate that. I was going to say something, but I forgot what it was.
Oh, well, that's okay. Fernanda, what are your last words? And then we'll give Janice another chance for her last words if she thinks of it.
Well, I really encourage you to try the program. This information, this wisdom changed my life for good. Like, from being in a bad relationship, sad, not so good economical, so to having the the life of my dreams, having a great job, having a great partner, having happiness, peace of mind, and I think the most important, just enjoy life, being happy. So I really encourage you to try it. Maybe try the program, or maybe read a book, or watch the Seeds of True Success podcast. And it really, really changed my life. So I recommend it completely, 100%. And I'm a lot happier now.
Thank you, Fernanda. Janice?
Yeah, you know what I have to say about this program is how it helped me is first, it helped me recognize the little things that were really causing me some unhappiness. And here's the key thing. It taught me what I can do to stop my addictions. That's the key. That is the benefit of taking this program. We learn the addictions we have, and we learn how to stop them, not temporarily, but forever. So I encourage you all, sign up for the program. It's awesome.
Thank you, Janice and Fernanda. Yeah, we have to take action. We can't only learn about it. And that's one of the great things about taking the course is not only do you learn what to do, but there's a wisdom group to help you apply it to your life. So there's the 10% code for everybody today. The program starts on Friday, a week from tomorrow. So tell your friends, and we're really excited. Thank you so much, Fernanda, for being our guest. And we look forward to seeing everybody next week.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, Jay. Thanks,
Bye.
Tech Team.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.